Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Washington being interested in trading for Lions receiver Marvin Jones and also possibly signing safety Reid, who played for Ron Rivera in Carolina. So we're going to talk about how realistic those options are and some trade packages for Marvin Jones. So if you guys are new, subscribe for Washington and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. And remember, check out House of Hoodies. Use code Pedro for 15% off. They got some insane jersey hoodies, including a Sean Taylor one and Chase Young one. Okay, so we'll first start off with the Marvin Jones rumors. So this was reported yesterday, and this source is reliable. He's predicted a bunch of stuff before, and he's got some really good sources. So he reported that Marvin Jones is now the hot wide receiver name on the trade market. Several teams pursuing the Lions veteran receiver, the Patriots, Browns, Saints, and Washington. If the price drops, more teams should be involved this week. So this does make sense. Given that we just won a game and we're 2-5 and we're half game out of the division and we have a realistic shot of winning this thing, and one of our weakest positions, at least depth-wise, is wide receiver because we have Terry McLaurin, but besides that, a lot of our players are injured. I mean, they're weak. Even without the injuries, that position isn't strong, but with Steven Sims out, AGG, Isaiah Wright, and even Kelvin Harmon before the season. So someone like Marvin Jones would help out our wide receiving core a lot. So we'll look at his stats and then some packages, and then we'll go on to Reid. So this year, he hasn't played great, still better than any other receiver we have besides Terry. He has 19 catches for 226 yards and a touchdown. But last year with the Lions, with not great quarterback play, because Matthew Stafford was out for a lot of the season. He played 13 games and he had 62 catches for 779 yards and a touchdown. So I don't know why there's a big drop off from last year to this year. Haven't really watched many Lions games, so I can't tell you that. But he's in his final year, so we would have to sign him again after the season. But again, also, if we're trying to win this division, I wouldn't mind giving up a late round pick for Marvin Jones, but the max I would give for him is a 5th round pick. I mean, like I said, he's a free agent and he hasn't produced to the level that he usually does. This year he hasn't, so I would give up a 5th round pick, maybe, 5th round pick, and that would be borderline. I almost wouldn't want to give that up just because it's some good draft capital, but I would probably give up a 5th or maybe like Ryan Anderson in a 7th, something like that. I would give up for Marvin Jones because again, it would help us out a lot, and he's a veteran wide receiver, so he could help lead our younger receivers, help develop them, and he's still a decent player and would be our best or second best receiving option behind Terry McLaurin. So I personally would like this. We'll see what happens, but keep an eye out, guys. This should, hopefully, if we do make trades, it happens before Thursday, because if you don't make it before Thursday, they won't be able to play until the week after. So they won't even be able to play for the week after the bye for us. So that's what's been told. So we got to get them before this Thursday if we want them to play because of the protocols. So that's what I would just say about Marvin Jones. Give up a late round pick if possible, but not like a 4th, no, because again, we could easily lose a bunch of games and our 4th round pick becomes pretty high value. So I would go for a 5th, and this is the trade I kind of laid out. Maybe Ryan Anderson and a 7th for Marvin Jones, depending on how teams value Ryan Anderson, because he doesn't really have much of a role on this team, especially when we're in games, competitive games. Ryan Anderson doesn't see the field much, sometimes on third downs, but that's really it. So I wouldn't mind giving him up to a team that possibly could need someone, and that would be good for Ryan Anderson too, because he would have more of an expanded role on the Lions than he does here. And then some other wide receivers we could go as real quick before we get to the Reid conversation. John Ross for a super late round pick, maybe Will Fuller, but he's probably like a 5th round pick or maybe even higher. So those guys, maybe Kenny Stills for a late round pick. Those are the kind of guys that are on the trade market. But Marvin Jones wouldn't be bad, but we'll see what the trade price is. So now on to The news that came out today, and this was reported by John Keim and NFL Update, they said Washington has considered signing veteran safety Eric Reid to replace the injured Landon Collins per John Keim. And as you guys all know, Eric Reid played for Ron Rivera in Carolina, and his stats last year, he's a good tackling safety, 124 tackles, but he was not good in coverage at all last year. He was the worst, and this is PFF, so you have to take it with a grain of salt, but he was the worst coverage safety in the NFL last year, according to PFF. So, his coverage, and usually it is definitely a lot better than it was last year, but that is a little bit of a red flag, but he can get to the quarterback. Had about 4 sacks last year with Carolina, won the year before, and he can get some interceptions. I mean, he has 11 career interceptions. He's a veteran. He knows what to expect, or he knows what to do for Ron Rivera because he's familiar with him. He's played for him for 2 years in 2018 and most of 2019. So, this would be an okay move. It's definitely better than anyone we have on the roster right now. I think Cameron Curl is decent and will end up getting better and better as the season goes on and as the years go on. But obviously, Eric Reid right now is probably better than Cameron Curl. The problem with Eric Reid is the money issue. That's what John Keim is saying, is that could be a factor in this whole decision. So here's what I'll say. So John Keim was told all options are on the table. Don't know if it'll work out with Reid. Know that Rivera has spoken highly of him in the past. Story explains that the money aspect too, again, one of a few options being considered. So there's some other options, and if you guys didn't watch my video yesterday, go ahead and watch that. But there's some other guys that we could go after. Earl Thomas, Rashad Jones, safety on the Jets, maybe Tony Jefferson. So there's other options out there if we don't want to go after Eric Reid. And you also have Cameron Curl, who is on your roster right now. And we just promoted Jeremy Reeves, who is on our practice squad. We promoted him to our active roster, so he could also step in there. And, I've always liked Jeremy Reeves. Obviously, he's not even close to Landon Collins, but, we'll see how he ends up doing. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you want to sign Eric Reid, and do you want to trade for Marvin Jones? Like I said earlier, I think wide receiver help should be at the top of the list, and it is the most realistic thing because I think that's the most available thing on the trade market. You're not going to really find offensive line help in the trade market, especially this year with all the injuries on the offensive line. But receivers, it's pretty easy. There's a lot of teams that are shopping receivers. I mean, you got the Texans, you got a bunch of these teams that, are willing to shop some of the receivers. So Will Fuller, John Ross, Kenny Stills, Marvin Jones, for the right price, I would consider trading for them because, especially coming off the bye week, would give them a little bit extra time to get acclimated to the system, and it would, provide a boost to the offense and maybe make us a middle of the pack offense for the second half of the year. And if we're a middle of the pack offense with our defense, we can win a lot of games. And again, that's a big if, but it would help us out a lot. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash the like button. Subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video. And let me know, like I said, would you rather have Marvin Jones or Eric Reid, or which receiver would you like if you guys want to trade for any? Again, don't want to give up too much though. Peace.